Hey y'all, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to check out another one of my videos. I really do appreciate it. And if you're new around here, hello and welcome. My name is Katie Marie. I'm a lover of eyeshadow palettes, and today we are going to be diving into two different eyeshadow palettes. They're very different from each other, however, they're both themed around the same idea, and that is Van Gogh's Starry Night palette. And as you saw from the title, I'm talking about the Storybook Cosmetics Starry Night palette and the Musee Beauty Van Gogh palette. These are both themed around the Starry Night painting that Van Gogh did. They both were launched around the same time, so I got a lot of requests to compare them, so that is what we're going to be doing in my video today. I was a little hesitant to do this video because I feel like, yes, they are both Van Gogh's Starry Night palette themed. However, when you actually look at the color stories, I feel like they're also very different. As you guys can see, I just feel like right away they're very different from each other. Yes, they have the same blues and greens in them and a little bit of like grungy yellows in them, sure, but besides that, they have very different takes on the Starry Night Van Gogh painting, so I almost didn't want to do this comparison. However, I got so many requests from you guys saying that you guys would find that helpful and help you guys decide which palette might be best for you, so that is what we're going to be doing today. As you guys can already tell, I have this on my eyes today. If you want to guess down below in the comments which palette did I do and which eye. But yeah, I went ahead and created two looks using one each of the palette on one each of my eyes, and we're going to get into that in a minute. You guys will be able to see me create these looks on my eyes, and then after I do my eye look, we're going to move over and I'm going to share with you guys similarities and differences for these palettes, and I'm also going to be swatching on my arm the shadows that I think are the most similar between these two palettes, so you guys can really be able to see if these palettes, you know, if you need both of them, basically is what I'm saying. If you actually need both of them or if you just need one or the other. So we'll get into the swatches and all that at the end, but at this moment, let's go ahead and do my Instagram shout out, and then we'll dive right into the tutorials using both of these palettes on my eyes.
Before we do that though, let's go ahead and do my Instagram shout out for today. And for today, I'm going to be highlighting this commenter from my most recent Instagram post. They left this really sweet comment and it just stood out to me and I really do appreciate it. So yeah, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to comment on my posts over on Instagram. I really do appreciate it. And you are my Instagram shout out for today.
Okay, so I prepped my eyes and I did use my Lorac Behind the Scenes eyeshadow primer and the Makeup Revolution Supersize Conceal and Define to prep it. I don't know why I did both eyes because I'm going to be doing one eye at a time, so I'll probably have to redo my other eye, but anyway, that's what I did, and I definitely found that this combination definitely helps this palette out a whole lot, because if you missed my first impressions on the Storybook Starry Night palette, it did not last on me. Like, there was a significant creasing and fading on my eyes after that first day, and it's because I used my clean canvas eye base from Gerard Cosmetics. That one just isn't as good for my oily eyes, and with a formula that maybe isn't as good, isn't as bulletproof on oily eyelids like this one appears to be, the Gerard just can't cut it. So I changed up and I started using this as a combination when I did all my eye looks with this palette, and it solved the problem. I had noticed like little to zero wear time by the end of a full day, so wanted to update that. But let's go ahead and dive in. I have an idea of what I want to do. I think I'm going to do the blues in the crease, maybe a touch of this in the crease, we'll see how I feel, but I want to do the orange mainly on the lid with this guy, and I want to see how impactful I can get it, because that is just such a beautiful shadow and I want to use it again. I think I'm going to go in with Cypress, and then I might deepen that up with Venice afterwards if I want to make it a little bit deeper right in my crease, so we'll do that. And I want to use a detailed but still fluffy brush, so this is from Bad Habit when it was a makeup brand, and I don't think it has a name, number 3, not that you can get it anymore. Anyway, that's such a beautiful blend, very seamless. I am also tapping off my brush heavily when I go in just because this is blue. I've already done my face and I'm trying to get as minimal amount of fallout on my face as possible. So now with that said, I am going to go in with a really tiny brush. We're going to use this one E36 brush, and I'm going to go into Venice, which was that deeper blue shade, and I'm just going to deepen it up because I like a good gradient when it comes to what's in my crease. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. I'm going back in with that crease, just touching it again, and that is a gorgeous blend in my opinion. I like how it's looking. So we're gonna leave that for now and go on to my outer corner, and I'm going to take this brush from Smashbox. It's their contour shadow. I really like it. It's kind of like fluffy but still good for like packing on, so I'm going to use that to pack on the outer corner. And I'm going to take Himmel, this shade right here first, and I might mix it with a bit of this shade because I really want it to be dark but bright blue. Not too bright, but I want it to be nice and dark blue in my outer corner. So I forget if this is more of a gray blue, but we'll see. I can mix in a little bit of that Venice if I need to. So I'm just going to pop this on. Let me tap it off again because I forgot. I'm trying not to maroon my face makeup today. Okay, I think that's looking fine, but I am going to go ahead and just add a touch of Venice just because I love to mix shadows, and I feel like that is looking almost like a green blue. Not terribly, but if my critical eye, if you get like super up close, it looks a little green blue. And I don't want any green in this look. I want it to be really blue, like bright blue and bright orange. So I'm just tapping a little bit of Venice over that and blending that up into the crease. Okay, so at this point I'm going to add some glitter glue. I definitely know I want this. Okay, now I need to tap this out before it gets funky out here. I'm going to take that silver and I'm going to take it on a really flat brush. This is the Doe's concealer brush. It's actually my favorite for cutting my crease recently. It's just so very flat, but I'm going to use it for this because I feel like the flatter the brush, almost like a finger, it applies better. So I'm hoping this will apply it really nicely. I don't think I even pointed, but this is what I'm using, the silver Rustig. I don't know how to pronounce it, but so very beautiful, and I want to see how intense I can make this. And I'm going to take it and just kind of cut my crease, keep it above. I'm not taking it all over the lower part of my eyelid. Okay, I like how that looks. It's not as super sharp as I'd like it up here, but I think it's as sharp as I'm going to get this shadow because it is a very, like, if you use a brush and you're trying to apply it with a brush, I just feel like it's more of a translucent, kind of just a sparkle. But with a finger, it's like super intense and vibrant, but I can't get it super precise, like to cut the crease with my finger, and I just hate using my finger on my eyes, so that's as good as we're gonna get it. I'm happy with that. Let's move on to the orange, which I'm also gonna take a flat brush. This is a lot chunkier, but I don't need that precision. This is from Ofra. I don't know what it's called, 8885. And I'm gonna take Window, which is the orange. Okay, I like how that looks. It's not done, don't worry about it. It's definitely not blended, but I like to place all my shimmers and then just kind of work on blending it out. I do want to put a little bit of the blue in here actually. I know 3, it's getting kind of full on my eyelid, but I want to put this down. I'm going to take 1853, which I think in my video I kept calling it 1953. Anyway, I'm going to take 1853, which is a dark cobalt blue shimmer, and I'm going to put that from the orange to here just a teensy bit. This is gonna help give it a more seamless blend and also just give it more dimension and, I don't know, interest in the look with a blue shimmer kind of bleeding onto the orange that then goes into the silver. Okay, like that. And then I'll also do a little bit more of the matte out here to make sure it's all blended. But yeah, this is how it's gonna look. I'm just gonna mess with it and mesh all 3 of these together. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. At this point, let's go ahead and do my lower lash line. Then we'll move over to the Musee Van Gogh palettes. What do I want to do with my lower lash line? I was thinking of going, what was I going to do? I was going to kind of make this shade, because I love it so much, the star of the show on the inner part, and then just kind of putting a little bit of the bright blue on the lower, or on the outer corner to tie it into the blue here, because I just love this man shade, whatever it's called. So I'm going to pop this in here. Then I'm going to go with Venus because I really do like how bright blue that is, and I'm just going to mesh it here. I'm not going to bring it too much in. I'm going to keep the lower line pretty simple. Okay, I think it's fun and different. Let me do my inner corner. I'm going to take Theo, which is the shade right there. Okay, but yeah, that is basically the eye look. I will clean up this outer corner once I get my wing on because it's just hard to see. And yeah, that's my inner corner. Not the most vibrant. I definitely think with this shade, especially now that I've used it to cut my crease, that Rustique, I just feel like it's best to use for your inner corner highlight because it's just so beautiful and sparkly in your inner corner. And while I think it's pretty in there, I don't know, it just doesn't give as much definition because I wanted to use it to cut my crease, and even though I was very careful and used a flat brush, there's no crispness to the shadow. It's almost like it's silver, yes, it has color, but it's almost like it just can't give you the crisp line, at least for me when it comes to cut creases that I like. So that's a little disappointing, and I just prefer to use that as my inner corner. But besides that, I like the look, and I think this lower lash line, I'm not sure if I love that. Oh, also too, before we move on to my other eye and go to the Musee, I have a glitter on my nose, but fallout wise, the only fallout that I see is from the silver, so that's pretty awesome. No matte blue, no orange, I just saw a little bit of silver there, and that's it. So awesome, that is great. Let's move on to this eye. Okay, I usually don't do this, but I'm moving my mirror to hopefully help the angle be better for you guys. But anyway, Van Gogh palette. This is the one I really don't know what I want to do. Okay, after staring at this for way too long, I'm going to start with the blue Night and just see how light I can make this. So you know what, I should probably, I'm going to go a little bit smaller. I don't want to go too high up with it too dark. So to give myself a little bit of wiggle room in case this doesn't blend out the way I'm envisioning, I'm going to go in with this tinier brush, E33. I love this brush. I need more of them. And we're going to put it right in my crease. So almost like, you know, how I took the darker shade here, I'm going to start with that and then see if I can blend this out to a seamless crease. So there's that. Definitely very different blues. I mean, granted, I am using the darker blues and there's just more matte blue options in the Starry Night palette, but not too bad. And I'm going to keep blending that up and out. I'm not mad at that. As I'm blending it out though, it definitely is just looking more purple than blue. And I feel like once I do my lid with those purples, it's definitely going to look a lot more purpley than a bluey look. And I was wanting to make it more of a blue look with a pop of purple, but what you gonna do? Because, I mean, when you look at these options, there's not a whole lot to go for when it's wanting to match the blues in here. The Starry Night palette from Storybook Cosmetics just has so many more options when it comes to blues. Anyway, moving on from here, let's see, what do I want to do with the outer corner? Should I just go into that blue? That's going to be a very simple outer corner. Kind of boring, but I'm going to start with just a little bit of that same night shade here. Okay, so that looks good there. And now I'm going to go in with those two shades, and I am going to use my glitter glue. Where did it go? Because with this palette, the one con that I definitely noticed when I was doing looks is I wasn't using glitter glue, and the shimmers transfer. And I don't remember them transferring that badly, like up into my crease, with their Impressionism palette. So I want to see if glitter glue solves that problem, because I can't remember how many times I use glitter glue, because I tend to use glitter glue a lot just out of habit. So I can't remember if that's just maybe what I kept doing when I was using the Impressionism palette, and that's why I never noticed the transfer. So I'm going to use this today. I meant to not film this video today so I could try this technique out to see if it solves the transfer problem, but it just didn't work out. I slept in today and didn't do my makeup, so since I have to do it now, later in the day, I wanted to do this video where I talk as I do my makeup. So I'm just gonna put it on the screen here, or maybe later in the video. I'll just put it on the screen now and let you guys know if this did in fact solve the transfer problem, or if I still got bad transfer up into my crease. Anyway, now we're gonna go into that purple iris. Do you know what? I feel like I did the same thing in my first impressions. Won't that be lame? Okay. Abort. I think I did do both of these on my lid, and then I think the only other shade was this I did in the middle. So I don't want to repeat that since I already did that in my first impression. So I'm going to go in with Starlight on the inner half. Then I'll kind of move that into Iris, and then Blossom on the outer half. Maybe I should put a little bit more glitter glue. That'll cover it right up. Not too bad. It's a little more textured-y than I like with my shimmers, and also that I've experienced with this shadow, but it's because I put 2 layers of glitter glue on my eye. Kinda gotta expect that, Katie. And now I'm gonna go into that purple, which is Iris. there that I started to put in there, or on the inner corner. And I'm going to place that right here. I'm using the same brush, I'm just cleaning it off and flipping it around for these different shades. Now I'm going to go in with Blossom. They're both kind of getting the same vibe with where I'm placing these shadows, but colors are vastly different. I'm going into that Nightshade. This is a lot easier to hold up for you guys than the Starry Night. I will give it that. Just a tap back over that because I don't want the light shimmer to come quite so far. I like a lot of depth in my outer corner. Okay, so now let's do the lower lash line. I do want to do kind of the same pop, so I think I'm going to take the orange or the yellow. I guess it's kind of orangey. Anyway, the Sunflower shade, I'm going to bring it out here and then I'll connect it with the dark blue. Kind of ties the two looks together a little bit. I'm not someone who tends to enjoy doing these type of drastically different eye looks on each eye, and as I'm doing it now, I'm reminded why. I just feel like it looks so incomplete and weird. I don't know, I just don't really like it. But anyway, oh yes, let me do my inner corner, which because of me using all the shimmers, I'm just gonna, I guess, just use the more of the yellow. I mean, there's nothing else really. I'm gonna put this a little bit on my inner corner, and I might just take, you know what? Let's do that. I'm gonna take the silver from the Starry Night because I couldn't use it on my inner corner over here because I used it in my crease. I'm gonna take that Rustique shadow that I was saying I prefer to use as my inner corner. We'll use it on my inner corner on this side. I know it's kind of cheating, but that way you guys can see how beautiful it is when you really pack it on and just how shiny it is. Like, look how shiny that is. I think you guys can see that. It's gonna be a little bit more yellowy than true silver because I already put the yellow down, but that's okay. It kind of ties in this look a little bit better than a silver would, I guess. Like, look at that. So beautiful and blinding. I just feel like it's so much easier to pack it on and get it to show up really pretty than trying to cut my crease. But anyway, here are the looks. Drastically different. I'm trying to be okay with it. Oh, also for fallout on this side, I see a little bit of blue from the dark outer corner, that Nightshade, but I mean just the tiniest, like 3 little specks, and that was it. So great on that side as well. I'm gonna finish out my eye look and then we can close out this video and I can share with you guys my overall thoughts, pros and cons for each palette, and yeah, I'll be right back. Alright, so here is my completed look. I don't have wing liner. Are you guys shocked? I'm kind of shocked at myself, but here is the finished look, and I will stick up close-ups. That way you're able to see each of the eyes and just kind of see the detail work. And I mean, obviously, as you guys can tell, and you know, throughout the whole video, I wasn't trying to make them super similar, so they are pretty different, but I feel like they also kind of highlight the best pros and like the best reasons to get either palette, and I didn't even mean to do that. And what I mean by that is I feel like on the Musee Beauty Van Gogh side, it's very more purple, like blue purple leaning, and very grungy leaning when it comes to the mattes and the type of blues that you get. It's a very grunge palette, but the shimmers in it are very pastel leaning, as opposed to my Starry Night palette with the Storybook Cosmetics. I feel like the blues are just a lot more vibrant and brighter. There's more definition because I was able to use more blue, so I feel like overall this eye look is just a lot more intense and vibrant, which I feel kind of shows the strengths of this palette. I feel like you get a lot more variety of blues, a lot brighter blues, and a lot more color, more pops of color than with the Van Gogh. So that right there I think is the biggest difference when it comes to this palette. This is grungy yet pastelish in nature, which is a little kind of almost seems like an oxymoron because grunge just makes me think dark, but you can have a pastel grunge. So this is grungy and pastelish, whereas this is vibrant and intense and bright colors, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But let's go ahead and move on into the similarities and differences. Okay, first off is size. If you're someone who, you know, doesn't have that much room, can I just hold this correctly? I'm sorry, I'm just flipping them all over the place. If you're someone who has a very limited amount of space, then I say the Van Gogh definitely wins out because it's small and compact, and this guy is huge. Though if you have a bookshelf with regular books, you could always store this with that. But anyway, it's very, very big. This does have a little compartment, so if you're someone who travels or something and you want to be able to not feel like you're wasting space, this can definitely put some like liners in there, some eye pencils, maybe a little tiny lipstick, lip pencils, that sort of thing. So it does have that. It's not totally a waste of space, but it is very, very large. Right off the bat though, there is a huge price difference, so that might be something to consider when it comes to these two palettes because they're definitely very different in price. This one's a lot more affordable. You can get it on sale. You can use coupons, and I don't think I was able to find a coupon for Storybook Cosmetics, and it's expensive. So also quality-wise, I feel like both of these palettes are very nice. And I can't even say that one trumps the other because any kind of quirk or con that one palette has, I feel like the other palette has a different con. So when we're talking about like quality with these palettes and blendability, ease of use, and all that sort of thing, I feel like they're very, very comparable. This formula I feel like might be a couple steps lower because like I said, the Gerard Cosmetics Canvas, Clean Canvas Eye Base, it did crease and fade terribly with me on this palette, whereas this one doesn't. However, with that said, this one transferred heavily on my eyes without any type of primer, whereas this one doesn't. So that's why I kind of say it's like tit for tat. This one I have to make sure I use a good eyeshadow base because the formula just isn't good enough to hold up on my oily eyelids without a really good eyeshadow primer, and this one can transfer without a glitter glue, and that really is the only con I can find with this palette. So those right there when it comes to formula are the biggest cons, and if one of them is a deal breaker, then that'll answer your question right there. If you're someone who always likes to know the matte to shimmer ratio in the Musee Beauty Van Gogh palette, there are 5 mattes and 4 shimmers, and in the Storybook Cosmetics Starry Night palette, there are 6 mattes and 6 shimmers. So almost split down the middle. Of course, you know, this one only has 9 pans, this has 12 pans, so right there it does have a little leg up, but that's the ratio. That's something I always like to see, how many mattes there are to work with over shimmers. Moving on from that, I'm going to swatch all the shades that are similar together and put that on the screen right now so you guys can really be able to see the similarities. Just swatching them out on my arms, nothing too crazy, but be able to see the similarities. And then after that, I'm also going to swatch all the shades that are left over that are different. So these shadows, in my opinion, are what's going to kind of help you decide if you want the palette or not. The ones that are different. If you enjoy what's different in the Starry Night palette, then I would say go for that palette because you're going to be more happy with it because it's going to give you those shadows in that palette that attracted you to the palette and that you really liked. So I feel like you'll just be more happier with that palette. I hope seeing the similar shadows swatched together and then seeing all the remaining shadows that aren't similar swatched out will help you guys be able to see which palette is best for you. Another thing I definitely think with this palette is that there is a distinct difference in the shimmers in these two palettes. This one I feel like across the board, they're all really nice, kind of like I already said, pastel shimmers that are very easy to work with a brush. They're just kind of one and done shadows, no muss, no fuss. They're nicely pigmented, nothing too intensely pigmented because they are more of that kind of pastelish wash of color, but they're nice and easy to use. Whereas this one, I feel like there's a variety, a mix of different shimmers. This is a very chunky, almost translucent as you guys saw. This is a very vibrant, but it's a lot more subtle in the amount of shimmer it has to it. It's a very almost satiny tone. Same with this, it's got that satin edge to it, but it has more brightness to it. However, these two shadows specifically are polar opposite to the other shimmers, this one and this one, in that they're much more like very satin, very soft shimmers that really surprised me. And then this shade too as well. This shade I remember using, I'm pretty sure I used this in my first impression, and it looks so pretty and intense. However, when I used it on my eye, trying to get that intensity to transfer, it just looked very disappointing, and it was very much more a very soft shimmer with very little color to it. So again, you know, with this, I was a little more disappointed with the shimmers in this. These two were the standout, but besides that, I really did enjoy working with the other shimmers. So for me, when I'm kind of comparing these two palettes, the shimmers in this palette definitely went out because they're more consistent across the board, and they're just easier to use. Whereas this has a couple of different varieties of formulas of shimmers, and majority of them I didn't enjoy using. So yeah, I think that's going to do it for this video. I'll keep the outro pretty short and sweet. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments as always. I really do appreciate and love to hear from you guys, and let me know what palettes I should compare next. I really enjoy comparing palettes when it comes to the videos I make for my channel. I've done several of them over the past year, and they tend to do well on my channel. I really enjoy doing them, you know, giving you guys pros, cons. I used to do a duper dud series that I haven't done in ages, but I really enjoy doing that. So if there are any other similar palettes out there launching around the same time, what have you, kind of the same case as this, let me know that down below in the comments. But yeah, with all that said, if you did enjoy this video, if you found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up on your way out as it helps me in the whole YouTube algorithm. And if you want to continue getting daily content from me, I'm over on Instagram, I'm LadyKatie92. And with all that said, that's going to do it for today's video, and I will see you in my next one very soon. Bye guys.